Hello. I don't know, I suddenly felt very lighthearted. I have increased the medication dosage, so perhaps that's why. What the fuck? We're gonna continue and do our little video pops today, and I'll get to those in a minute. Thank you for all of you who schlepped out to Comic-Con. I think we had a lot of fun. I think it was a great turnout. Appreciate that, and I think it's always fun showing the teaser, and we didn't do last year. I think we previewed the first 5 minutes of the episode, and we didn't do that this year just because I felt it's a different. This season has the rhythm is a little bit different, so we showed the first 2 minutes of the episode, and then our great marketing department cut together a sort of an action teaser from a little mix of the end of last season and the beginning of this season, which was so much fun to watch. So my thanks to Stephanie Gibbons and her crew for pulling that off. And things of that nature will be airing very soon, with actual footage from the season in the promos. We're moving along here. We're shooting episode 7, and then we have a little. My actors and crew get a couple weeks off for a production hiatus, which allows me and the writers to catch up a little bit, as I am a wee bit behind, much to director Peter Weller's chagrin. I'm momentarily behind on turning in the draft of episode 8. But it'll be worth it, Peter. It'll be worth it. So we're shooting 7. We're prepping 8, sort of. And I just locked picture for episode 4, which will be 90 minutes. A lot of those perhaps this season. And what else? That's it. So let me answer these questions. The first one, which you will see, comes from, who does it come from? It comes from Cheryl from Lubbock, Texas.
And my question is, what can we expect to see between Tara and Wendy this season? I'm a mother myself, and I would fight and kill for my kids, and I see that in Tara, but also now see that in Wendy. Just curious as to what kind of cat fights we might see this season.
And I'll answer these in a general way. Of course, I don't want to... my head is... I've shared this before, right? That I have a crooked head. My ears are crooked, so that my glasses never fit the right way. I always have to... I'm sorry, what was I saying? Oh, I'll answer these in a general way so you know thematically what's going on without spoiling. The interesting thing always about that dynamic between Tara and Wendy now is that they are both, even though obviously Tara has, she is the guardian for Abel, and she is his mother, and really has raised him, that they are two women who, both have had a child with Jax, and now that Wendy has somewhat cleaned up her act and looking to perhaps reinvest in that family with her son, suddenly we have these two women who have a stake in Jax's children. And it's always a very push-pull thing, I really, I think Wendy, ironically, at the end of the day, is perhaps the most together of all the adults in our world, going from the most fucked up in the pilot to perhaps, the person that now is on this path of recovery and has a certain amount of self-awareness and has a certain amount of commitment to being honest and doing the right thing. She sort of answers to a higher authority than perhaps anybody else. So that's always interesting to throw that into the mix in this sort of outlaw culture. I think the Sopranos handled it pretty well when Christopher was trying to get sober, clean and sober from heroin. How do you play the concept of spirituality and honesty and recovery in an environment that is just not meant to contain it, and that shit's always fun to play, and we get to do a little bit of that with Wendy. I think we'll continue to play out that dynamic and see these two mothers, like all the relationships on this show, especially the Tara Gemma relationship. It's a fluid thing. My life experience with family members and friends is that it's never a straight line. Those relationships, especially those people you love and have passion for, there are always ebbs and flows, and there's days and weeks when you fucking want them dead, and then there's days and weeks when you would dive in front of a train to protect them, and so it's there's no real black and white, and that's what I love about what we do with Gemma and Tara, is that not just from season to season, but sometimes from episode to episode, their relationship shifts. It's almost as solid as their last encounter. And I think we'll see a little bit of that with Tara and Wendy this season. Our other question comes from Craig Sawyer from Los Angeles, California.
Coach Sutter, how's it going, man? My question is, what kind of body count should we expect from this season? And will we be, seeing any Opie-esque, cataclysmic shit this season? Thanks, bro.
Again, I'm not going to spoil. I have already mentioned that perhaps this is maybe the bloodiest, or at least the most violent season to date. And I think that still holds true. Whether or not that will translate into more bodies, I'm not, I won't say. But, look, if you were a fly on the wall of the writer's room, you would, we come into each episode now, and it happened on The Shield, and it's happening on this show too, is as the mythology gets thicker and these relationships become more complicated because of, you have now 5 seasons of dynamics and circumstances and history that has happened between characters or MCs or outlawed organizations, and or between family members. So you have to sort of, when you go in and you start crafting these scenes, you have to look at obviously the immediate circumstances in terms of what brought them together and what's on their plate for the day, but you can't deny the history that exists between these characters. So it gets very, the tentacles get very long and tangled as we continue. So as a result of that, the complications increase. As a result of that, the tensions are higher. There's more at stake. Inevitably, we've done stories about conflict that have created some sort of beef or tensions between characters. So I think with each season, the body count tends to get higher, as it did on The Shield, because you just have had more shit happen in your conflict-driven, action-oriented drama. So it's just by the very nature of what it is we do, the show gets more intense and gets bloodier, and that's not me, quite honestly, trying to be sensational. It's not me trying to one-up myself from previous episodes or previous seasons. Like, how do I best myself? And I really don't think that way. I think that's a mistake. And I try to be original in terms of how we do things, so that it feels fresh, and and it's not something, a beat we've played out before. But in terms of the level of violence and the intensity of the circumstances, that's not me, needing to outdo myself. It really is the organic nature of 5 seasons worth of shit that has been piling up on these guys, and to not look at that and to not plug that in to the narrative would be illogical and not real to their circumstances. So that's a long-winded answer to your question, which I obviously can't speak to specifically, but I just think that the nature of the violence and the level of dead bodies continue and to grow, because of that's what the world is, it's what the show is, and I don't think that's unique to Sons. I think if you look at other shows that are of this world and tonally like this show, I think that tends to happen. So those are my answers. I really dig this. I love plugging you guys into this and making it. Obviously it's not live, but you guys get to weigh in a little bit, and we can make this more of a community thing. So keep sending. Where are we sending those? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's the Twitter handle, but here is I think this is the fantastic. Where's the?
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りしました。
Somebody has to tweet me what the fuck she's saying, because that's fabulous, whatever it is. So one more time.
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りしました。
That's the email to send your video clip questions to, and we'll do this again next week, and I'll keep doing my little Q&As and keeping you folks plugged in. Thank you.